And on to the last team in this tier. This is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, this tier is playoff caliber. The next tier is Super Bowl contender. I had the Steelers in the next tier above this one a week ago, or a week and a half ago, or whatever. Before they played the Eagles, I had them in the Super Bowl contender tier. I moved them down to this tier at the end, so they're still ranked in just about the same spot, but I moved them down to this tier after the Eagles loss. Now, here's the thing. Was the Eagles loss on paper such a big deal to them that it messed with their playoff chances? They're, as far as I know, they're basically almost locks for the playoffs. They're almost clinched. Was it a big deal that they lost to the Eagles? No. Was it a big deal that they lost to the Eagles because we're no longer talking about a borderline playoff team that sneaks in the wild card, blah, 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 and we're now talking about Super Bowl hopes team in the Steelers? Yeah, it is a disappointment that they lost to the Eagles. But not just that they lost, how they lost. It wasn't as competitive as you'd want it to be. I wanted that game to be a lot more competitive. And it wasn't a horrible game. They didn't get the snot beat out of them necessarily. George Pickens was out. That's tough. I didn't see the competitive nature I wanted to see to keep him in the Super Bowl contender tier, though. I don't know if they really go toe-to-toe with the Steelers or with the Eagles or the Bills or whatever in the playoffs and have a good shot of winning it. I don't know that I do. I don't want that to put away all the good that they've done this season, because they beat the allegations, the 9-8 allegations, haven't they? And they have a quarterback now. And they have a better offensive play caller as well with Arthur Smith. So, and by the way, Arthur Smith, like I mentioned him earlier, he got a lot of hate for what he did in Atlanta as head coach. He is, to me, one of those guys that isn't a head coach, just doesn't have that built in him. But he is still a good offensive play caller. He's still a good offensive coordinator in general. So I thought it was smart bringing him in. On to some other things that the Steelers have done good this season. Their rookie class is phenomenal. They fully addressed their offensive line. That's been fantastic for them. Adding Nick Herbig as an edge rusher was just unfair. Already having Highsmith and TJ Watt and then add him in. That's crazy. Peyton Wilson's been playing really well. Joey Porter Jr., he's not a rookie, but from last year, he's been playing really well too. So this team has a lot to lean on, and Mike Tomlin's just a crazy good coach. It does have a lot to lean on, so I don't want to make this all negative. The other thing I want to talk about here that's positive, Russ rebounding and playing really great for this team. He's added a level to this offense, a level of play to this offense that they needed. He can get the ball downfield. We forgot who was, in the 2010s and early 2020s, who was the best deep ball thrower in the league? Russell Wilson, man. All the way up until Seattle. Since before he left Seattle, he was the best deep ball thrower. And we saw him on the Broncos, and, I was one of the people that said he's washed. He isn't washed. He was in the wrong system, playing the wrong game on the wrong team. Now he's got a better cast around him. He's got play calling that matches him better. He's got a team that doesn't need to just focus on him to win the game and make big plays all the time. They have a run game. They have a defense that'll get the ball back. They have a kicker that'll kick it from, 68 yards out and get points on the board. So it isn't just the Russ show, and it doesn't have to be the Russ show. His moon ball has added an extra layer to this offense, but he's just a piece of the entire thing that they have going, which has been fantastic for him. Just being a piece, just a cog on the machine, not the whole machine. I do want to talk one more little teensy bit about the playoff standings, and I bring up this Eagles game again. The Eagles are a tough team to judge how other teams do against them. it's not entirely fair. It's one of the best rosters in the league, and it's really tough to beat them. And it's really tough to stay entirely competitive with them. But here's the thing. We're talking about a team that hasn't proven in a long time that they can keep up with those kinds of teams like the Eagles. And seeing them struggle that way against the Eagles, man, you needed to see a little bit more competitive out of them for them to get to the next tier. With that being said, I see no reason why the Steelers can't make a deep run in the playoffs. I'm not confident enough to make the take that they will right now, and I'm kind of basing that off the Eagles thing. So that's more of a personal thing with me. So that's the Steelers.